Yeah, how are you?
Very fine.
They say that, we've been hearing that who are the organizers? They're faceless or...
So, guys, you need to see how this young Nigerian schooled Seun of Channels Television. You know, he was being asked who are those organizing this protest. As if these people don't know that Nigerians are hungry. Hungry Nigerians are the ones behind this protest. But you need to see how this guy put it. You know, he listed out those behind this protest. This government was thinking that, you know, using money will be able to capture Nigerians. They don't know that gone are the days when Nigerians were blind. Now Nigerians can see very well. They've been buying people, like we've seen so many, even news websites carrying it, you know, that they are using public funds to pay people to come out to say that they are moving away from the protest. But I tell you, that has not yielded any benefit to them. Guess what? Another thing they are doing is to pay people to gather them in places like Abuja to tell them that they should like come out to see they are not going to be part of the protest. But guess what? There are Nigerians who are determined for the change we all are yearning for. And this guy, he's even a Yoruba guy. But guess what? He knows that Emilokon was a scam. It was a pure scam.
Yeah, how are you?
Very fine.
They say that, we've been hearing that who are the organizers? They're faceless or all of that. But it looks like this is the major time that we have heard about Take It Back movement.
Well, first of all, let me quickly address the issue of tagging the organizers of the protest as faceless. I think it is double insult. After making people poor and, wretched, then you then tell them that, they need to be privileged in the society before they can express themselves, before they can express their displeasure. So that is to say that the organizers of the protest are hungry Nigerians. They are the host of unemployed Nigerians. They are the host of hopeless Nigerians who are roaming the streets. They are the out-of-school children who are, spread across the country. So I tell you that these are the organizers of the protest. And the greatest motivation of this end bad governance protest is hunger. People are really hungry.
Is it your group Take It Back that they designed the end bad governance? Did you coin it?
A host of Nigerians, young Nigerians especially, have been debating on this issue for the past weeks. And in fact, if you look at the demands, they were democratically agreed to by young Nigerians who are agitated.
There are different charter of demand that we see online. Series of them.
Of course.
Some asking that Senate and House of Reps should be scrapped.
Of course.
Their new constitution.
Of course, but this
is it part of your charter of demand?
Of course, these demands have been brought together and they've been, addressed by. Yes, I think it was yesterday. There was a Twitter space, an X space rather, which garnered over 10,000 young people, which gathered them together to debate the model for this protest and the demands, and it was interesting, and you could see that young people are really interested in coming out to express their displeasure. They are tired, so it's very obvious.
Damilare, can we say that Take It Back movement is the organizer of the protest?
Take It Back is one of the organizers of this protest.
So who are the rest of who are the other groups that are organizing this?
There are a lot of groups. I was on an interview with our Rafsanjani yesterday. And like he said, they were giving support. They were going to give support. This group was going to give support to protesters. I'm aware that Activista is going to give support. They are going to be protesting. They are going to be mobilizing.
No, I'm asking. So there are those who are giving support, but I'm asking. Your group, Take It Back movement, is registered in Nigeria as an NGO, isn't it?
Yes.
You are saying you are one of the organizers, but not the organizer.
Okay.
Is that right?
Of course.
That you are not the organizer.
We are not the sole
organizer. It's not your idea.
We are not.
Is it your idea?
We are not the sole. No.
Is that protest your idea?
Let's. I think we should properly address this. The Constitution does not say that some people have to be the organizer and some people have to be partakers. What the Constitution says is that every Nigerian has a right to express themselves. They have a right to assemble. They have a right to associate and express their displeasure against government malfeasance. And this is what is in play. I think that's what we should talk. We should be talking about.
Absolutely, we'll get there. I'm trying for us to clear the air, because if there are those who say that if evil comes to equity must come with clean hands,
of course.
If the government is saying who are these organizers, we must be able to clear the air and put face to the unidentifiable
Yes.
personalities behind it. Now that your group is coming up, is it the same with Omoyele Sowore? Is Omoyele Sowore linked to this?
Omoyele Sowore is only a convener of the Take It Back movement and a foremost human rights activist in Nigeria who is as concerned as I am and is, carrying out a duty, his duty.
So I want to, so our Nigerians get it clear. So this is not Omoyele Showore's idea.
This is the idea of Nigerian people, battered Nigerian people. This is the idea of hungry Nigerian people. This is the idea of
who brought it up in the first place?
Young people.
Is it the Take It Back movement that brought it
the
up?
agitation emanated from Twitter, and the Take It Back being an organization which has been responsible for organizing several protests in this country, pro-human rights protests in this country, and has consistently called out thoughtless government policies in this country, only felt that, this is why we started this organization, and we should be here, we should be on ground to give support to Nigerians who are saying...
How much have you been able to put together for this for the organization?
How much?
Yeah, in terms of monetary support that you have gotten.
I'm not aware we have gotten any monetary. We are not doing this for monetary support, so I don't think we should be having...
But people are supporting, isn't it?
People are supporting themselves, as far as I'm concerned. In fact, very recently, the account of the TIB was arbitrarily blocked by the UBA on, it was an allegation that it was on the order of the DSS.
So they blocked your account?
Yes,
your group's account?
Yes, the account of the TIB with the United Bank of Africa has been blocked arbitrarily. And so,
has your group gone to the bank to find out why?
Of course.
What did you find out?
Of course, they are here to respond to us.
So, how much do you have in that account? And this is just for you to organize the protest.
I cannot really say. I cannot really talk to that because I'm not privileged to that information. So, at the moment.
No, I'm asking this because so that Nigerians who are willing to be part of it have the right information and know who their leaders are. Unlike the NSAS protest. This protest has a leader, is that right?
Of course, this protest is being led by Nigerian people, I insist. It is also right to say that there are supports from human rights organizations who exist for this purpose. You understand? So trying to, fish out who the organizers are is very material to the condition of the Nigerian people at this very moment.
Let's talk about the letter that Mr. Wike is talking about.
Okay.
You signed off that letter.
Of course, I did.
What happened? Was it lost in transmission?
It is possible that the receipt of the letter is being delayed by, most likely bureaucracy in most Nigerian ministries, or the minister is, likely being insincere about receiving the letter.
But do you have an acknowledged copy?
We have, but if they insist that they haven't received it, the alternative is that it was served by publication, especially considering the fact that many Nigerian ministries streamline what or what not to receive. So if he says he didn't get it physically, then we could as well say that he was served by publication.
The protest
and
started on Thursday.
If he says that he wants it by Monday, I assure you that the letter, we will reserve him on Monday.
So if he says that he has not gotten the letter,
yes,
unfortunately or fortunately, whatever the case may be, if the letter does not get to him until Thursday,
on Monday, we will take it there on Monday.
So assuming he doesn't get it, because he is saying that until he gets the letter before he gives approval
he didn't say that alone. He was mentioning that we have to apply properly and pay the rent.
So my question as a strategist, if you are the organizer, as a mobilizer, I'm saying that what happens? You have alternative plan of where to use, the venue to use, other than the Eagle Square, if you do not have the permission to use it.
The truth is that the Eagle Square is a public property, and when I saw the video of the minister, I was amazed because I saw the minister asking us to pay rent, pay security fees. My question to the minister is that how does the minister expect Nigerian youths, a greater population of Nigerian youths who are impoverished, who are unemployed, who have no jobs, to afford the exorbitant amount is requesting for us to pay?
So whatever happens, you will go ahead to use Eagle Square.
We are going to be at Eagle Square.
But it's always locked,
August 1st.
With security.
Of course, we would speak to them if they have the interest of the people. If they really, have the will to serve us, then they should be willing to provide that venue for us.
The legal conversation around it. And the police is not denied the fact that Nigerian citizens have the right to assemble, to protest, and to show their grievance against government actions or inactions. But in this case, it does look like the government has established its fear, and perhaps the NSAS report, God forbid, what happened in the aftermath of NSAS, for example, in Lagos, happened again. The destruction and the wanton destruction of lives, of property. Never should that kind of thing happen in the name of a protest. But you understand the fear of government. Under the law, what are the possibilities of guaranteeing that, yes, there will be peaceful protests, but how do we make sure that there is no hijack?
Well, thank you very much, Seun. I think it is worth noting that non-violent protest is a shared responsibility between the state and the protesters. And what I mean is the state has a constitutional responsibility to guarantee safety as well as the security of citizens, because Section 14 of the Constitution is very clear as to the role and the function of the state. Citizens, on the other hand, also have a duty to support the government to ensure that there is political stability and there is no violence. Now, you have a situation where citizens and young people, in furtherance of a right vested on them by the provisions of the Constitution, and in particular Section 40, that deals with the freedom of peaceful assembly, are enforcing their right because the same Constitution also vests citizens with a responsibility to hold their government to account. And so they have decided to use or instrumentalize protest, which is a tool guaranteed by the Constitution for engaging government. And so whether the protest will end in violence or not is a role that both the police, the security agencies, and the protesters have to bear. Now, historically, the people who actually hijack protests and ensure that protests end in violence are not the protesters. And so we need to cut the organizers of this protest some slack, because they have expressed their commitment to ensuring that they exercise this right for protest under and based on the dictates of the law. Now, the state, on the other hand, also now has a responsibility to protect the protesters and ensure that mischief makers, thugs, do not hijack the protest. And that is where I think that we need to reiterate the point that if the protest, is peaceful, it is peaceful because security agencies and the protester decide to work together. And I'm using this opportunity to call on the security agencies, to protect the protesters because they are exercising their constitutional right.
Let me jump in quickly. Yeah. You referenced Section 40 of the Constitution, which guarantee freedom of association and peaceful assembly. But there are those who will argue that there isn't any place in the Constitution where protests and demonstrations have been mentioned. And the police have said, if you are going to do this protest, you have to assemble in a place for easy organization. What do you make of that provision and that argument that the police have said no bonfires, no streets, no marching on the street, just assemble for easy organization? Do you agree with that line that the police is towing?
Well, quite frankly, we must recognize, yes, the police has a responsibility and just drawing from experiences in the past. But I don't think that it behoves on the police to dictate to the protesters the mode and the approach that they use, to ventilate their grievance, because the Constitution is very clear. I think that the protesters and those who are organizing this protest also have a responsibility to ensure that they don't use any tool that undermines public safety. because this responsibility is shared and this right is not absolute. And so it's important. And all through the preparation for this protest, I have not heard where the protesters have said they are going to use either arms or they're going to use tools that threaten public peace or public safety. But they also need to be reminded that they must do so. They must exercise that right within the provisions of the law. Now, Seun, the Constitution, does not place any responsibility on the protesters, to request for any permit. And this matter is settled by our courts. If you recall, in 2007, when the ANPP, the former or the defunct, ANPP, led a protest to protest the government policies of the federal government, and then the police disrupted the protest, and their argument in court was that you required a permit, to conduct protest. And the court ruled in favor of ANPP that you do not require any permit, to do what? To conduct or undertake any protest, because the law is very clear, because peaceful assembly, and it's very clear, peaceful, assembly. So I think that the protesters, need to defend their rights, by restricting themselves to the provisions of the Constitution and not employ violence as a tool, because across the world, violence is not a tool. And I really want to cut the protesters some slack, because they've not said that they are going to do what? To instrumentalize violence, or they are going to burn down government institutions or public or national asset. They've not said so, and I want to give them the benefit of doubt. However, what the police needs to do, and based on the rhetoric coming from different stakeholders, is to protect this protest.
Something quickly, I like to get this. Sowore, who is a presidential candidate of a political party in the 2023 elections, is one of those who will be leading this protest. There are those who will say this is now politically motivated. Now, for a government who spent about just a year in office, does he have the right to then go to the street and protest when those who gave the president a mandate are waiting patiently for him to deliver? There are those who argue in that right, and there are those who will say this is purely, totally backed. And then the DSS had said they've identified those who are financing and funding this. What do you make of that? If this is toned and tagged as a politically motivated protest, the legality of that, is it questioned though?
Protest is political. The big question is whether it is partisan. Because this is citizens' action. This is a citizens' action. It's actually a political engagement where citizens are engaging the state and they are ventilating their views. So there's nothing wrong if this is political. The big question is whether this is actually partisan. And Sowore isn't, to the best of my knowledge, he's not the only one leading this protest. There are other citizens who are part of those who are organizing this protest. The gentleman who is there in the studio, he has also told you. And so there are people. So the big question is, why are these citizens protesting? Those are the key questions. And what government needs to learn, it needs to talk with young people. Currently, it is talking at young people, but it's not talking with young people. And this is why these young people are leveraging protests to demand a better bargain, and is one that addresses and improves the social conditions of Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Samson.
So guys, when they say people should endure, Nigerians were willing to endure. But guess what? Nigerians have endured to the point that they are no longer finding it funny. You can imagine what it means to feed a family of 6, 7, or 8 persons today in Nigeria. The times are hard, and Nigerians are reacting because this government has held us hostage enough. It is time to get ourselves liberated. And you can see all these Nigerians who are so bold to come out to say that, The hungry Nigerians are the ones organizing this protest, and that is why there is no going back. Because if Nigerians shouldn't protest, what will happen? The hunger will just continue. So this government should get ready to keep buying people, because even the people they are buying, it will get to a point, they'll be tired of taking their money, because they will be met with the reality on ground. If they are pretending as if they don't know what is happening in Nigeria, they are just fooling themselves, because the reality is that people are hungry. People are hungry and Nigerians are revolting. So if they are able to buy a few hands of persons in Abuja, would they be able to buy people across Nigeria? That means another campaign for Tinubu. So guys, you can see that this government, they don't even know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing, and that is why Nigerians are not happy, because from the onset, Nigerians kept lamenting over the way they were spending money. All they know is to borrow and squander. We don't see them investing all the loans that they've been taking. Possibly they've been using these loans for, service of the debt that Nigeria is owing. Or I don't know what they've been using it for. But now Nigerians are like telling them that we are tired of their excesses, using our money the way they want. They don't use it for the good of the people, and that is why the hunger is biting. The hunger is biting. If Tinubu had used the money for his private jet to go build a good school, or build, schools where people can learn skills outside the university degree, or even build better hospitals, Nigerians will understand that this government means well for the people. But guess what? There is no project for the people. There is no project for the people. They only send bag of rice that end up not ending into people's hand. We saw the last video that was shared on the rice that was being distributed. These rice were found in markets. People diverted this rice to the market to sell and make gains, while these things were meant, to alleviate the sufferings of the people. But that strategy was the worst of it all. So guys, this protest is being organized by hungry Nigerians, those who are tired of the way these politicians have been handling the affairs of this country, and that is why they are saying they must come out to protest. This protest is a must for every patriotic Nigerian who hope to see Nigeria work again. This protest is mandatory. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.